So here at T.REX Arms, we've been getting a lot of questions about the Generation 3 APL weapon light. And the most common question is it going to fit the holster that was made for my Gen 2 APL? And that's a great question because there's a lot of things that are different about these two lights. Now the Gen 3 has some pretty significant improvements over the Gen 2, specifically an aluminum clamp that is stronger, much better texture on these paddles and better switches inside, and twice as much light output. But it's also smaller and a little bit slimmer than the Gen 2 and just more rounded and smoother in a couple of different ways. It is going to work just fine in your Sidecar, your Nomad, your Raptor, or any other holster that's made out of the thinner .08 Kydex. All you need to do is just tighten it down and you'll be able to find the retention and the friction that you're looking for. However, if you have a Ragnarok holster, things are a little different. The Ragnarok is made out of 1/8" Kydex. It's so much thicker and so much stiffer and more rigid. It just isn't quite as forgiving to the slightly different size light. So if you bought a Ragnarok that supported the Gen 2 in the past, you're probably going to need to get a new holster if you upgrade to the new light. Now the good news is that if you bought a Ragnarok from us in the last month or so, it's going to work with both lights. What we did was very carefully measure both of the lights, create a 3D model for each, and then create an intermediate model so that what we're actually making, when you loosen these bolts, you get something that is the perfect shape for the Gen 2 model, and if you tighten it down for more retention, you get something that is the perfect shape for the Gen 3 model. Now building that intermediate model and getting the dimensions exactly right actually was harder than it sounds, and it took a lot of tries to get it right. But it usually takes several tries to get our Ragnarok molds correct. And this more rigid Kydex, it is harder to work with, and that's why every Ragnarok that we make is vacuum formed and comes off of our CNC machine just so that we have a little bit more control over some of these really tight tolerances that are necessary. I'm glad we came up with a solution that allows us to support both lights because they're both really great lights. And you should keep watching this YouTube channel because we're going to be running more in-depth reviews of the Gen 3 light and also the APL-C, the compact light.